Everything I'm going to say in this video is going to be biased but also hypocritical. We're going to be talking about credit cards, and my bias is I don't use credit cards, obviously, but the hypocritical part I'll mention by the end of the video. Why make a video where you're biased and hypocritical? Because this is our channel and I work at the behest of my consumers, and to build up trust with you guys, I have to be honest all across the board. It doesn't matter what I think. Hi, my name is Adrian, and this is Always Talk Money. I like to talk money as it relates to everyday life. I don't have any investing tips or get rich quick schemes, just a candid conversations amongst friends. And today, I want to ask a question. Are credit cards actually evil? Now, as I said in the intro, I don't use credit cards, so that's where my bias lies. But to discuss my hypocrisy, we're gonna have to wait till the end of the video to discuss that, because there's some context that needs to be had in the middle of the video. So stick around for that. But the reason I don't use credit cards is, in my personal opinion, I think it's a gateway drug to bad debt. Well, I know what most people are going to say. You pay off your balance at the end of the month. You don't have to worry about interest. You don't have to worry about getting in debt. Just be responsible, right? That's what everybody says, especially credit card YouTubers who teach you about credit card churning and so on and so forth. But if you look at the statistics and what's actually happening in the real world, we know that couldn't be further from the truth. It's not like we're not in a credit card crisis or something, right? And I also made a video about that, discussing all of the numbers. So if you guys want to check that out after this one, I would appreciate it if you guys did so. So I'm not going to repeat those numbers here, but I want to deconstruct something for a second, right? You have hotel perks, airport lounges, tickets to Beyonce, so on and so forth, all these great benefits. And it seems like a no strings attached, right? Because you use your credit card for purchases that you were going to make anyway. So you swipe your card and then you get cash back and the perks for the price of $0.99. Okay, so that's good. Let's put that aside for a second. I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think credit card companies are charities? Are they humanitarian? Are they in it for the money? Are they in it to make a profit? Are they capitalists? If the answer is yes to any of those questions, then the next question I want to ask is, if you guys are having the upper hand by getting all these free perks and benefits, then how in the hell are they making money? How are they able to afford these big marketing budgets where they're hiring, Samuel L. Jackson to ask what's in your wallet? How are they affording to build these great big beautiful airport lounges? How are they able to afford these great big buildings and sponsor all these sporting events and so on and so forth? If you are paying off everything and you're getting all these free perks, then the money has to come from somewhere, right? So when we talk about how do credit card companies make money, of course, they make money from merchant fees every time you swipe. That's why a lot of restaurants, a lot of places have a minimum purchase that you have to make in order to use a card, right? Because they want to make sure they're making a profit after the merchant fees. They do make money from annual fees. Some credit cards charge $100, $150, so on and so forth. The more exclusive the card, the higher the annual fee. But still, it doesn't add up, because if you're paying a $150 annual fee, but you're getting 3% cash back on all these purchases that you're going to make, then it stands to reason that they're going to lose in the long run. They do make money also on cash advances and balance transfers, but still it doesn't add up. So everybody talking about their credit card churning and so on and so forth, yes, that's a small percentage of people, but credit card companies would run out of business if everybody was credit card churning, if everybody was doing it responsibly and doing it the right way. They simply would just run out of business. But they're profitable. They're making billions and billions of dollars off of this industry. And I'm not against any business making money. I'm a capitalist myself and I run businesses and I want to make money, right? The fact of the matter is, I think credit cards are evil because their practices are more predatory. Let me explain. The majority of the money they make are from interest. They want you to not be able to pay your balances, and so they entice you with these free perks on the front end. They know that when you swipe your credit card also, you're more likely to spend 40% more than if you use cash or a debit card, because you don't have that emotional attachment to that purchase. They spend entire billions of dollars on these marketing budgets and the psychology of spending to entice you to do these things. When you're in the mall and you have your credit card in tow, you're more likely to spend than if you had cash. That's just the fact of the matter. And they do that to trick you to purchase on purpose. But let's say you are in the 1% of people or the 2% of people who successfully churn your credit card, never pay any fees, never pay any interest. You get away scot-free and get all these free perks with no strings attached. Let's say you are in that camp of people. You have to know that that is being paid for, as we discussed, because the credit card companies have to make a profit, that is being paid for by people who don't have money, because the average balance on American credit cards right now is about $6,000. So those are people who are struggling. Those are people who are finding it hard to make ends meet and paying their bills. So those interest payments on that $6,000 balance, that is funding your airport lounges. That is funding your free miles. That is funding your free Netflix. That is funding your cash back. That's where that money has come from. And this is why I think credit cards are evil, because they're taking money from people who are less fortunate and putting it into the people who are more fortunate. Because if you think about it, who's more likely to successfully be able to churn a credit card? Someone with resources, someone who is, would you say, rich, because they're spending on their Amex cards to get the miles and the perks and so on and so forth, and paid off at the end of the month. Then that's someone who is probably in a financial position where they can do so. Someone with a high net worth, or at least someone with a high income. And so that person with a high income is getting free flights, free hotels, free concert tickets, free food, free cash back from someone who is struggling to make ends meet. And that's my conundrum with credit cards overall. Not that you can get free stuff, I understand, but the business model is designed to take from the poor and the person who cannot afford to keep up with their payments to give to the rich, who is also the person who is most likely to be able to successfully churn a credit card. But here's why I'm a hypocrite. And if you're liking this video so far, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing so I can be a hypocrite more in your life, But here's why I'm a hypocrite. As much as I want to take a moral stand on credit cards because I don't want to get free miles and free this because of someone else who is struggling to make ends meet, paying all the interest payments that's funding my lifestyle, I wear Nike. I use products that are probably made in adverse conditions in other countries by people who cannot afford the lifestyle that I live. These people are making $1 or $2 a day. If we really look into how, Apple products are made, or the iPhone or Tesla, and the lithium batteries and the components and the resources that are being taken out of these poorer third world countries, then I am inherently a hypocrite. So I have to admit that. I can be moral on credit cards and talk about how the interest payments are funding the lifestyle of people more fortunate. Then I have to admit that my lifestyle and the things that I use on a daily basis, it's cost effective for me and cheap for me because they're being produced by people who are working in adverse conditions for $1 or $2 per hour. But at the end of the day, I know I'm not going to stop using the products I use. I'm not going to stop wearing the clothes I wear. And so I have to admit that while I take a moral stance on credit cards, I am a hypocrite in that regard. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Bottom line is, we live in America and we live in a society where capitalism, it doesn't affect everyone on an equal playing field. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm not going to be 100% benefiting where someone else is not at a deficit. That's just how the game goes. And I understand that, and I accept that to a certain degree. I am not in the kumbaya, let's all hold hands type of mindset. I understand that the world is hard. It's a dog eat dog world. And if we were all in nature, some people are lions and some people are gazelles. And when a lion mauls a gazelle, nobody protests about it. Nobody write think pieces about it. Nobody makes YouTube videos about it because that's the way of the world. They call that natural selection. But there are certain things that I take a stance on, and just credit cards is one of them. And just the fact that, you know, the ads, the way they force you to spend, and the psychology and the marketing behind credit cards, it's inherently predatory. We live in a country where you can make a choice. I have a choice to not use credit cards. And that's not to say that I have never used them. I have used them in the past, but we all understand what the inherent risks are. But sometimes people have no choice and they have to go into debt in order to feed their family, in order to, you know, see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I understand that. I've been there and it's not easy. But as I said, it doesn't absolve me of anything. I'm not a saint. I'm not Jesus. I'm not the best person on the planet. I'm just simply a man who has an opinion, and that also makes me a hypocrite. Thanks for watching.